Sweet. All right. All right. Sucks. Very, very just sad, somber, rapid reaction today because Kentucky was right there. It played out exactly the way we all thought and expected as we've seen this thing go 100 times at this point. Florida jumps out to a 15-point lead. Feels like the momentum is shifting entirely in Florida's direction. Kentucky storms back, cuts it to 5. Momentum, the temperature cools down quite a bit, kind of gets some nervous energy in the building. Go into halftime down 9, flip it to 2 point. It's a 2-point game within the first minute and a half of the second half, and you get a whole brand new ball game exactly where you want to be. And then the rest of the way, it's just kind of a back and forth affair that unfortunately every time Kentucky was ready to make its push, big three the other way, or tough foul, or big free throws, or whatever the case was, it just wasn't enough to close the gap and actually pull off the unfortunate comeback on Kentucky's side. It just sucks because, it felt like they were ready for this moment. I loved this team's fight. I loved their response. I loved the energy in the building and how they responded to that. I never once felt like, man, these guys aren't prepared. These guys aren't, willing to put in the extra oomph to take care of business in this building, and it just wasn't enough. It was a very good Florida team that unfortunately Kentucky wasn't good enough today, but it has me very excited for the rematch at Rupp Arena, Stephen Peake.
Yeah, I mean, this team, they can beat this team. I didn't know.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know going in how Kentucky would stack up. Florida's really good. To your point, going back to the moment when it was 43-41, Malachi Marino flushes a dunk. You're like, all right, now I feel like this game's just going to be tight all the way to the wire. Mm-hmm. Did you see how he got called for his 4th foul?
Horrible.
It was Condon, I think. Just he feels Malachi's hands on his back because he's getting ready to post Malachi up. So, I mean, like he puts his hands on and he just falls forward. Malachi picks up his 4th. After that, they get an and one on Yelovich. Then Xavier Lee does the same thing to Aberdeen. No call. Kentucky misses. Colin Chandler misses only one of his 2 misses from 3 on the night. They come down and Xavier Lee hits a step-back 3. I mean, he went 4 for 4 to start the game. I mean, that's just some bad luck on Kentucky's part because I'm sure that was the game plan. Hey, if Xavier Lee wants to take step-back 3s in Colin Chandler's face, like, we live with that, and he buries it. And the game changed right there. I mean, that was enough distance for Florida. I think it got down to maybe 4 again at some point. Maybe if it was only 5. It got down to 88-83 in the last 36 seconds. But at that point, I mean, it was already over. Now, I mean, like, look, Florida's good. They're better. Mm-hmm. They're the better.
Today they are better.
Yeah, and I'm not like. Maybe I'll save this take for just a couple minutes in because I don't want to go straight off the top talking about the officiating. But I was pretty disappointed. We'll table that.
Because it's a massive talking point. But I will say that I actually liked the Kentucky game plan. Yes. It was very obvious that they wanted Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan to take tough, long, inefficient shots that they are known for putting up tour dates. Like, that is a very real thing that if you allow them to get the volume up, you can kind of play your way into some makes on the other end. And it was working that way. Then Xavier Lee just starts out 4 for 4 from 3, 25%. He was a, quarter 3-point shooter all season long, and he happens to start 4 for 4. Again, you don't want him to be totally uncontested, kind of the same damned if you do, damned if you don't thing that we dealt with in New York City for Michigan State. They let the bad shooters take shots, but you also don't want to be 35 feet away from them. Like, make them slightly uncomfortable, but give them those shots, and unfortunately it just worked.
They gave their best shooter some really good looks. He got to squeeze off 11 shots. That's Urban Klaser. How much? There's just too many. I got to get better at I want a pronunciation guide on these stat sheets from now on. Klavchar. That's how you pronounce that. Yep. Thank you. Where's he from? Do you have any idea where he's from?
I don't.
Okay. Well, he is their best percentage 3-point shooter, I believe.
38 and change.
And he got to squeeze off 11 tonight. And like you said, a couple of them were just wide open looks, and they were pretty big. Some of those threes that he hit. But
the turnover differential to start with was a massive. When you're at that much of a disadvantage, 16-0 hole on points off turnovers.
Yeah.
Like that's really hard. But to their credit, they did respond. They were able to cut it two from there. But then, Stephen, as you so eloquently put, the officials decided to let their whistles do the talking in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it is a talking point. It's a talking point on social media right now. We got our guy, Spencer Smith, breaking down some of the tape, and he's frustrated. There was the double dribble, and we've talked about whether that was a gathering the ball. And honestly, I can't believe Condon put another – it was Condon, I think, right? I can't believe he put another dribble down because I would have – if it were me, I would have thought the referees might call this a double dribble, even if I thought that was just gathering the ball, because it looks a lot like a dribble. I mean, you pound the ball into the ground like this, right? And then you do
it's
it.
It's like a look like you belong there kind of deal, where it's like, oh, that obviously wasn't the first dribble. I obviously didn't have control, so I'm going to obviously take my first dribble. I think he played it off very well.
That's
the rest
a good point.
Like, oh, he obviously
he wouldn't do that. Yeah,
double dribble right in front of me.
I had a feeling he was going to do it because I was sitting next to you and I said, oh, he can't dribble anymore, and then he does, kicks it out and they hit a three. And I'm like, well, damn, I guess he could dribble. The Kentucky assistants were up, asking, well, what's the call there? Referee, I guess, said it was a gather. There were several, I thought, bad calls. But look, I mean, that's life on the road. Like, I talk about it all the time.
Must be nice.
You cannot
to get that home whistle.
That's what I was going to say. On March 7th, I just want to see. I'm fine with that because I don't think the officiating is why Kentucky lost. I thought there were some things that definitely hurt, like having to play Malachi having to play in foul trouble with 4 fouls late. I mean, you could tell that he backed off a couple times, especially when the game was still in the balance. I think it was a 6-point game, and he just kind of had to I'm just going to put both hands straight up, and they just hooked over him at least once. But I thought he played really well. And what you got out of Ortega today, you're going to need him to be better next time around.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough. Just say his approach wasn't where it needed to be. He got a little too Archie Goodwin-y for my liking. Just no.
You're not getting the calls, so you can't really be doing that.
No real intention or plan behind a lot of what he did. It was just to get downhill and go running through the A gap like he's a running back. Just not. And again, to Florida's credit, they said afterward, like, that was our total game plan. We wanted to make him very uncomfortable, force him left, and make him miss layups. And Kentucky missed a crap ton of layups.
How many did they miss? Is that on there?
It's not on this sheet, but it
was bad.
One of the I tweeted it out, but it was they're like 5 for.
That's just a common theme. I mean, they are heavily contested a lot of the times. They are difficult layups, and Owe finished a couple when he went up 2 hands. I almost wish he would just get rid of the left-handed layup. Just every time you want to go up with your left, just try to dunk on him, because I feel like maybe they'll give you the benefit of the doubt with the foul call there. And he finished some of the tougher layups, I thought. Colin Chandler, Jack, is turning into like a star player.
Unbelievable.
He is shooting the absolute lights out right now. He's shooting 56% from 3 since the Vanderbilt game. He was
7 for 21 is what I got.
7 for 21 on layups?
That was with 9 minutes to go. So,
okay. So it could have been even worse than that. Colin today, he was from 3,
5 for 7.
5 for 7, and one of the threes he missed, I think he missed 2 in the same possession. So only 1 3, and that was the one that ended up leading to an Xavier Lee 3 that pushed their lead back up to, I think, 9 points. So Colin Chandler has become, I mean, every time he lets a 3 go now, I'm like, oh, book it. That's 3 points. And I know that Todd Golden said they were trying to take that away from Colin today. They really didn't do that great of a job. And one thing, too, that he's doing is, like, he's taken at least late in the game when he hit that one to cut it to 5, off the dribble, like, little rushed. I always thought with Colin, his shot took a little too long to get out of his hands, and now it's catch and shoot. He's squeezing the trigger quick, so I love that. He has become, one of the. I mean, he is Kentucky's best 3-point shooter, but he's becoming one of the best 3-point shooters in the SEC.
Yeah, it was Malachi Moreno for the moment where you're going up against, in my opinion, the best front court in college basketball. I mean, that is a 3-headed monster that is as advertised. Like, Chinyelu is just a terror on the glass. Like, his effort, it feels like every possession that he doesn't finish with the ball in his hands is a win. Alex Condon getting a double-double. He played out of his mind. He was very, very impressive. Finishing touch around the rim. The Malachi foul trouble kind of gave him some space to operate that he probably wouldn't have had, but Alex, to his credit, played great, and Tommy Houck was just unbelievable. Very, very good. Ortega did his best on him. A lot of, I think, the energy that he put in on the defensive end, I think, impacted him on the offensive end. But he's that level of talent. Thomas Houck, as good as it gets. So for those three to be as talented as they are, and for Malachi to step up in that moment, and not just about the counting stats. It was his fight. It was matching the physicality and toughness and being, having 2-3 bodies around him and use strong hands. Get your hand on balls that, you're not necessarily in great position for, or, putting yourself in great position. He answered the bell in so many different ways, and he just deserves a lot of credit. He played like a first-round draft pick today against other first-round draft picks. So very, very proud of him.
Very proud of him, but it's making me nervous.
Yeah, but he was awesome. Colin Chandler was awesome. Denzel Aberdeen was awesome in moments.
Yeah.
He started out really slow. The emotions, I think, got to him. Started out 1 for 4. He kind of got into takeover mode, played very, very well, and then got kind of shaky there late as the pressure started rising and the game started slipping away. He took some unnecessary shots and but overall,
it's like scramble mode.
An okay performance for Denzel. But man, I just really need to see more from Ortega.
Yeah, I mean, he's Kentucky's best player. And what did he do today? I'm just looking quickly at his stat sheet. I mean, and they asked about, I forget who it was, but somebody asked Mark Pope about, his usage. I mean, he's playing a lot of minutes lately, but you got to have him on the floor.
37
minutes.
4 of 14
today,
shooting.
4 of 14. Yeah, and a lot of those were layups. Just saw in the chat, somebody said, by the way, hit the like button, hit subscribe. We're trying to get this channel. We want to get this to like 100,000 pretty quickly. So let's work on that. Let's do that. If you get to 100,000, I'll start putting those podcasts up right away.
Well, let's not get
let's not get carried away here. Again, Jack, this was a big game atmosphere. Once again, Kentucky's in town, so the T-shirts are out. 11,240 in attendance. It's the second highest attended game, I think they said, since 2016 when they did the renovations here at the Stephen C. O'Connell Center.
Mm-hmm.
You get that right?
O'Dome.
Great atmosphere. The Don't Back Down, I've never seen it for basketball, even on video. This is my first time here. I haven't been to a football game either, but that was really cool.
What'd you think about when they started doing that?
I was thinking, can we? I was thinking about Mark Stoops for one.
Mark Stoops too.
Yeah, I was like, if there's a comeback coming, the video guy better be getting Mark Pope in this huddle right now.
I'll be honest. When that moment happened, I said, I kind of miss Mark Stoops.
I miss the 2018 Mark Stoops for sure, but I thought that was cool. The second thing I thought of was, is there something we can do like that in Rupp? I mean, the Rupp Arena has been great. I'm not even critiquing Rupp Arena, but just the whole arena singing the song. It's so cool, and it's a new tradition to them, right? It's not that old, Well, the song isn't that old, so it's not like we were doing this in 1947. Like, no, this is relatively new. I don't know what year they started it for football, but I do like how they say, oh, that's a great tradition. Everyone loves it for football. How about we do the great tradition for basketball?
Well, we say that we're going to spell cats. That's always fun.
That's great.
Everybody, you guys know how to spell cats. All right.
We're going to help you do it.
All right, so it's going to be C over here. No, just say C-A-T. We're nitpicking.
But to the game, once Florida was in the bonus with 5.5 minutes into the second half, I kind of knew how this game was going to go.
I mean, dude, we were still at the 1-1 with a minute 30 left in the game.
They've been shooting the double bonus for 11 minutes. Yeah,
that's just dumb.
Yeah, and it is what it is. I thought the team that plays more physical, I think they get the benefit of the doubt. Everybody knows Florida plays physical, and they know that Kentucky's going to have to. I just felt like a lot of loose balls, a lot of 50-50 balls were going Florida's way, and I love Andre Yelovich. On the offensive end, I really think that dude can be a player, but he does kind of struggle down low, and that was evident today. I'll tell you one of the bigger turning points of the game, Jack, was, tell me if you agree with this, I think it was a 10-point game. You're just trying to hang in there, not let this thing get away from you. Kentucky actually gets 2 offensive rebounds, trying to cut it to 8. Yelovich gets the ball, and I think he was so concerned about getting the tie-up because it would have gone to Florida. Mm-hmm. The ball ends up losing it. They come down, hit a 3. Jasper's going to go try to call timeout, gets it stripped, they dunk, and all of a sudden you blinked, and it's like, oh, it's a 15-point game. It was back and forth between 8 to 10 points and 6 to 10 points, and then boom, it's up to 15. It was 32-17 with 9.5 to go. Jack, I swear, I thought Florida was going to hit 50 points by halftime easy. But to Kentucky's credit, they come out of that timeout, and I think they held Florida scoreless for the next 5 minutes or so. And again, I got to credit this Kentucky team for battling, for fighting back, but you just can't. You just cannot against these great teams, because I put Florida in a great team level at this point.
I think they're worth the hype, for sure.
Yeah, Kentucky is very good. I don't think they're great. I think winning today was always going to be hard. No matter, you could have gotten all the calls that Florida got, and it still may not have worked out. You still may have lost. And that's what's going to happen on March 7th. And if you have to play this team again in the SEC tournament. So, Florida's a great team. Mm-hmm. Kentucky sometimes can punch above their weight and be a great team. But I think right now they're just a very good team. They got to beat Georgia, I guess.
Yeah. And I think we can transition to big picture before we start wrapping this thing up. Shout out to our friends at Friends of Cole. Appreciate them for always keeping the lights on. Friends of Parlor Pizza. Appreciate everything that they do for us. But big picture, this was a house money game. This was not one that Kentucky had to come in and win.
Right.
I think it was more of, there was just the panic of, don't let this become a Vanderbilt. Don't let this become a Gonzaga. Just compete, fight, prove that you belong, and maybe go steal it. Maybe go prove that you belong atop the SEC standings. But if not, hey, you're still in position for a double bye, those sorts of things. And I think that's exactly what they accomplished. They had the fight, made some dumb mistakes, took bad shots, turned the ball over. Officiating was horrible, uncharacteristic things with Xavier Lee. And
yeah, I mean, that was the game, right? If Xavier Lee if he shoots 25%.
I mean, they combined for 43 points on 9 made threes. Like Alex Condon said after the game, if we make 10 threes in a game, we're unbeatable.
Hey,
there's a lot of truth to that.
What did you think about Todd Golden bringing up the $22 million?
He's a little weasel.
He knew it. I mean, come on. I was like, Todd, bro.
I have a lot of respect for him as a basketball coach.
100%, by the way.
What he has done to this program to reinvigorate this place, turn this into...
The transition from Mike White to him.
It will never be a basketball school, but the way he has transitioned and turned this into like, hey, we can be a basketball powerhouse and win championships and make the fan base hungry. I mean, it deserves a ton of credit, but he's going to get his jabs in. This dude just is obsessed.
He loves that stuff.
Obsessed with being the villain.
It works.
He's an unlikable guy. When he does those things, it's like, I like hating you,
Yeah.
So it didn't shock me at all. You knew that, he had that circled, especially knowing that Denzel Aberdeen, that was a money decision, not just a money decision, but definitely impacted that decision. So I'm sure he was ready to throw a money jab whenever he could when he was going to get the head-to-head win. So doesn't impact me one way or the other, but it just adds to hey, he's a pretty unlikable dude. I hope I'm rooting for his failure.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of rolled my eyes at it. Of course he's going to bring that up because I'm sure he's pretty upset about. I mean, Denzel Aberdeen is playing really well right now for Kentucky. Mm-hmm. He's a big part of this. The Kentucky winning 8 of their last 10 games now, and I think Florida could actually use Denzel Aberdeen. Mm-hmm. But this is a really good Florida Gator team. I know Bart Torvik has them winning out the rest of the way and locking up a 2 seed in the tournament. Considering how things started for this Florida team, it's kind of that's pretty surprising that they've been able to climb up into that 2 seed line. I kind of thought early on their ceiling was a 3 and probably going to be a 4. What about Kentucky? Did this change anything as far as how you feel about seed lines or anything like that?
I mean, outside of you now probably rule out a win out and get a 3 or a 4 or something crazy. You're probably living in that maybe if they win out from here and make a run to Sunday, you can talk yourself into maybe a 4. But you're living in that 5 to 7 to 8 range depending on how the rest of this goes. But I think just in general, I'm more focused on getting that double bye, focus on starting Friday, play into the weekend, and just let things play out however they need to. But overall, I think I'm more optimistic now than I was going in. I think that this was a prove-it game. There was a little bit of desperation with the Arkansas game, the Tennessee. That was, was a super impressive win. And at some point, you had to wonder, okay, when is the luck going to run out? At one point, are we going to... our vulnerabilities, and are we going to get exposed in any way some point soon? And this game had exposed written all over it.
Absolutely.
Circling on the calendar hey, this could be a 30-point loss. Jeff Goodman, I know, was one of the people that said they're going to lose by 30. Mm-hmm. That was a major talking point. So for them to answer to that them playing very, very well, uncharacteristically well with making shots and those sorts of things, and Kentucky to be there, kind of,
Dude, it was a 16-point game.
They were there
with how much time left? Like they may be right at the under 8 or something.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is where you could let go of the leash
and it goes to
let
30.
go of the rope and just and they didn't. They
it
battled
to 5.
all the way back.
They cut it back to 5
with 36 seconds left. And I was telling Jack, like,
you're a steal.
Maybe Florida just makes a mistake here, throws one away, and you get an easy bucket, and you got a chance. Now, I mean, it's cleanup minutes. It never felt like at any point, and obviously the stats are going to show you that because Florida that led the whole way. It never felt like Kentucky was going to ever win, even if it was 43-41. I was kind of hoping that they could go back and forth with them, but it was always going to be tough when you got. I mean, Kentucky had 3 players in foul trouble, and now you're lacking depth because of injuries. So this was always going to be a tough win. I'm not like devastated or anything like that. You now need a little bit of help if you want a share of the SEC regular season title. You're going to need Florida to slip up, and you're going to have to. Kentucky's going to probably have to win out and then beat Florida on March 7th. But like you said, right now Kentucky's playing for the double bye, finish in the top 4. Does this change anything with that? Arkansas, do we know anything?
We've technically dropped to 4th.
Okay, but how many games do you know? Did you look at that to see how many games difference? Are we up by a game or two on the 5th place team?
We're up a half game on the 5th place team.
Okay, so so like Tennessee. I know it's a kind of there's a bunch of teams that had 6-4 or 7-4 records that all kind of jumbled in together. So. But yeah, you got a very winnable game next week to try to get some more separation, try to finish in that top 4 spot, and I would love it if we're playing on Saturday in Nashville.
Tough loss, admirable effort. Appreciate the comeback. A lot to be optimistic about, and Florida's a good team. Give them credit. Shout out Malachi Moreno and Colin Chandler for putting Kentucky in position. So we got to give our Parlor Pizza game player of the game. I'm going to go
shout out Friends of Cole.
Yes,
they are Friends of Cole. Friendsofcole.org.
We'll be at Parlor Pizza on Wednesday, Harrodsburg Road location, 5 p.m. Sources say live remote. Make sure you're there. But I'm going to pick Malachi Moreno as my Parlor Pizza player of the game. Just knowing the moment, knowing the physicality. This is back-to-back opportunities against Tennessee. Same exact kind of reputation. Malachi is soft. Tennessee is way too physical. He's going to get exposed. Answered the bell there.
Yes,
same exact thing unfolded, even more so. Malachi was amazing. He's a first-round draft pick, and I love the kid. So he's my Parlor Pizza player of the game. Well,
I'm going to go. I really, really, really wanted to give this to Denzel Aberdeen. Because I thought he played well, but it's silly to ignore what Colin Chandler's doing right now. 18 points, and he only my sheet is only the halftime. So how many shots did he take?
Aberdeen took 21.
No, Chandler. 10. So 6 of 10 and 5 of 7 from 3. Since Vanderbilt, he's shooting 14 of 25 from 3-point land, and that's pretty damn good, Jack. So I'm going to go with Colin Chandler as my Parlor Pizza player of the game.
Wish we could have done it, but shout out to the Cats as always. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and hopefully we respond with a big-time win. Tuesday, Georgia. Make sure you're there. Rupp Arena. Make sure it's rowdy. Go Cats.
Go Cats.